Was good, y'all. I'm not exactly sure why I'm even doing this video today, but I apologize in advance for bringing forth what I'm about to show you. I felt like it was too heavy a burden to hold on my own, so here we are today. Recently, I've been going through some spoof movies trying to find some gems to laugh at. I'm really aiming for that so good it's bad, but you know, it's a mixed bag. You can either find something truly incredible like The Velocipaster, which has become unironically one of my favorite comedy movies, or you can find something like Ape vs. Monster, which we'll be looking at today. Honestly, it might be in the top 5 worst things I've ever watched. I actually sorta had good expectations too, but not in the way you'd think. Based off the trailers, it looked like it would be at least a goofy fun time to laugh at how shit it was, but unfortunately, I wish I knew what I was getting into because it did not deliver on that expectation at all. So without further ado, let's just watch this thing. You know, the beginning of this movie was a shock to me. Unbelievable to my eyes, I actually thought it was okay. Considering my expectations were very low as to the quality of the movie we were getting, the tone was a lot more serious than I expected and even managed to keep me interested for like the first 30 minutes. Now that's not to say it was great or anything, but it was serviceable and even Kong's opening shot was alright. For a movie that supposedly had a $100 budget, which I don't believe whatsoever, there's just no info on this movie and I think that's why it said that. I mean, even The Velocipaster had a budget of like $30,000, so surely this wasn't a $100 budget. You know, he looks alright though, for now. From this opening, I realized this isn't gonna be a goofy, funny, haha spoof movie, but I was still optimistic it would be okay.
Is that engineer blind? Break, you son of a bitch! Break!
Then Godzilla is introduced, and oh dear God, this is where shit starts to take a turn. The CGI really takes a deep dive downhill, but that's a good thing. Scenes like these kept my sanity intact here and there, because this movie is fucking boring. Laughing at these little scenes were the only fun to be had, and unfortunately, once we get about 30 minutes in, we don't really see them until the very end of the movie. So that means we still got an hour, and it's just full of this shit.
The cable is key. I believe it's possible to shoot a disruptive
Sure does seem like the lizard is going after the ape.
Conducted a thorough sweep of the immediate area after I was picked up. No sign.
Upgraded our sky mapping system based on the cellular pattern of the alien substance.
Doctor, reduce cellular activity. Perhaps this accounts for his lower rate of growth.
I remember you speaking of your father.
Bro, please, bro. Why you do?
Man, they just be spewing the most generic garbage bullshit. Let me recap the plot so you really understand the generic, nonsensical monster story this movie is about. Our main character we follow is Dr. Linda Murphy. She leads an investigation on a space shuttle that crash landed. What's on the space shuttle, you ask? Big Ape Dude. Apparently, this shuttle is from the Cold War when the US and the Soviets tried to end the war by making contact with aliens together, because why not? So during this time, Linda's scientist father led this project and wanted a chimpanzee to go on the space shuttle. But Linda got sad because the chimpanzee he sent was her friend and the shuttle got lost in space. Now that it's back though, Abraham the chimp is a big boy. When the Russians learn about the shuttle, they join in on the investigation. They find goo at the site and they take it and inject it into Abraham. Only before they did that, a lizard ate some of the goo. Can you guess what happens now? We got Godzilla, baby! Still awake? I guess so. Let me skip past the hour-long monologue. Long story short, the monsters escape in and out of captivity. Then we learn the monsters are being controlled by aliens. This shit's so goofy, dog. Apparently, the goo in them allows the aliens to control them. I just like the idea though of a few aliens sitting in a ship with joysticks controlling these monsters like they're playing Mortal Kombat or some shit. I don't know, dog. That's my headcanon, because you gotta make your own fun here. This shit is not fun whatsoever. Anyways, the humans plan to stop the mind control by attaching a satellite to the Washington Monument, and it'll jam the signal or some shit. The monsters go there because the aliens want to cripple the US government, I guess. The Washington Monument is fucking destroyed, and so they go to Plan B with their little rinky-dink satellite in the back of their van. We get a goofy-ass sacrifice by the Russian chick. Then, finally, with 5 minutes left, we get a monster fight scene. This might be the only genuinely enjoyable part of the movie, but maybe it just feels that way after an eternity of the bullshit dialogue. Abraham, now free from the aliens, cleans up Godzilla real quick.
Oh my god.
That's the plot. I really love the minimal effort put into. Like when they make it to the morning after the war, the Washington Monument is suddenly just back like nothing ever happened, even though we literally just seen it get split in half. In a movie filled with god-awful CGI and plot, somehow I think the acting is the worst part. God damn, I've seen more emotional range from an orange. Although some of the awful line delivery did make me laugh.
As soon as that salamander shows his skin, he's guacamole.
My favorite part of the movie by far though is the fucking editing. I swear to God, this shit was so ridiculous. I kid you not, every time we go to this goddamn lab, they show the same fucking overhead drone shot, and I mean every time. You'd think people could gather that we were at the lab by the lab set, but no, I counted 20 plus times. 20! We got this same drone shot, and it was the only thing that kept me invested late into the story, just hoping it popped up again. With how many times we go back to this lab, you could play a drinking game and black out. Holy shit, dude.
Another one, 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 another one.
Overall, this was such an awful experience. This is sort of what I imagine hell to be like. Just a never-ending loop of this fucking movie. I didn't even realize until researching either that the company who made this, The Asylum, makes a whole shitload of spoof movies, and they've been around for years. They've given us all-time greats like Sharknado, which I eventually want to do a video on, or a whole series, but then they've given us stuff like this. If this was more goofy and didn't take itself too serious, really diving into the comedic aspect of it all, it could have been somewhat enjoyable. But we're left with the monstrosity that is ape versus monster.